Barca close in on Aguero, Zidane to walk away from Real, Arteta's job is on the line, a transfer roundup, plus this week's Friday Feels, all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and according to Sky Sports, Barcelona have held initial talks with Sergio Aguero's representatives about a transfer to the club this summer on a free. Now, of course, this would not be Sergio Aguero's first time in La Liga. He had 5 years with Atletico Madrid before he made the move to Manchester City. Of course, if Aguero arrived at Barcelona, it would mean that they got a brand new striker, but of course, he would also be pivotal in this Lionel Messi situation, keeping him at the club. So according to Alvaro Montero, he's a Spanish football expert, he has said to Sky Sports that not only would Aguero be great because of course he speaks Spanish, he's got experience in La Liga, and we all know he can score goals, but he would be so important with this Messi situation for the Barcelona president, Joan Laporta, because if he could provide Messi with this idea of, although Luis Suarez has departed from the club, who was a good friend of Lionel Messi's, we could actually bring in another friend for you in Sergio Aguero, this could really make the difference. Regarding this Messi situation, I think it is a good idea, but for Messi, you can't just stay at a club because your friend's playing there. I mean, if that was the case, we would have never seen David Beckham leave Manchester United and head to Real Madrid, let's be honest. But I do feel that there are so many other reasons as to why Lionel Messi will be staying at Barcelona, in my opinion. I mean, you look at him now, he's a stark contrast to the Lionel Messi that we saw maybe at the beginning of the season. He looks a lot more happier, he looks comfortable, his relationship with Ronald Koeman is apparently pretty good. Of course, they've won the Copa del Rey, so as much as Sergio Aguero would be an added bonus, I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. We all know that they need a goal scorer, so it does make sense to get Sergio Aguero, but I'm not sure if he's the man for the job. He's 32, turning 33 in the summer, and you look at other players his age, he's probably not on the same level anymore as the likes of Robert Lewandowski, for example, and this is just because of injuries. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't get back to those ways, but recently this season we have seen a real decline with illness and injuries. He's only managed 17 appearances for Manchester City this season and has only scored 4 goals. So if I was a Barcelona fan, I would be a little bit concerned about this, if I'm being honest. But of course, last season he did net over 20 goals for Manchester City, and he can definitely rediscover this form providing he can stay fit. But is he really going to be a permanent solution to the problem of having a striker? I'm not completely convinced. I think he will be a pit stop along the way. However, if Sergio Aguero can help keep Lionel Messi at the club, it's definitely not a bad idea, and I for one would be pretty excited to see the two players link up in La Liga. Next, heading to Real Madrid, and since their Champions League exit, the club seem to have been in absolute turmoil, as reports are now surfacing that not only could Zinedine Zidane walk away from the club, but they are now also looking at numerous players, big name players at the club, that perhaps no longer are considered as part of Real Madrid's future. So this report comes from Goal, who have reportedly spoken to a couple of different players on different levels of the playing staff at Real Madrid, who do feel like it could be an option that Zidane will walk away from the job, even though he has 1 year left on his contract. Zidane is reportedly fed up of things that are outside of his control, such as COVID-19 and the hectic schedule that it has provided and the constraints that he's had, especially in training, etc. But this has kind of been the case for not only all of the footballing world, but the entire world as a whole. But additionally, he's fed up of the criticism, he's a little bit angry, he's tired of the injuries, etc. But surely all of this comes with being a coach, so I'm not too sure about that one. But there are also rumours that Zidane does have his eye on the job with the French national team. Now, Didier Deschamps does have a contract until 2022. This, coincidentally, is when Zidane's contract with Real Madrid does finish, so perhaps there could be a changing of the guard there. But all I know is that according to these reports, it seems like Real Madrid do want to try and keep the manager, but they have also been looking at club legend Raul and Max Allegri. However, like I say, it is not just the manager that could be walking away, as there have been a couple of players' names that have been thrown around about not being part of the future. 3 of these names are reportedly Isco, Marcelo and Eden Hazard. And I guess you can kind of understand and maybe provide arguments for all 3, especially when you look at Real Madrid and how many players they actually do have, especially out on loan. I mean, you've got Gareth Bale, you've got Luka Jovic, you've got Kubo, you've got Reinier at Dortmund, you've got Martin Odegaard, you've got Dani Ceballos. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that I'm missing. There are just so many names. All this seems to tell me is that this club are really, really ready for change. And although it will be sad to see a couple of faces go, there will be the likes of David Alba potentially arriving according to reports. Of course, there is this pursuit of Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, so the future does look optimistic. Whether Zinedine Zidane will be part of this future or not, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now heading to last night in the Europa League, and the English clubs competing in this competition didn't perform half as well as the English clubs competing in the Champions League, as it will not be an all-English final in the Europa League. Yes, Arsenal crashed out against Villarreal. It was 0-0 on the night. They've lost 2-1 on aggregate. And it was a shambles, such a frustrating night as Arsenal failed to really try and make anything of the little chances that they had. The fact that Arteta started his most attacking lineup in the semi-final of the Europa League against Villarreal, and from the first minute, really, it just didn't look good for them. This is really worrying, and it doesn't surprise me that there are now reports about Arteta and if he will be keeping his job. For Arsenal and for Arteta, the Europa League was their lifeline. It's not been great in the league, so this was their one opportunity to get European football, and they failed. So what this means is that for the first time in about 25 years, Arsenal will not be in a European competition, and I can only imagine how fans are feeling. This for me is just another example of Arsenal's inconsistencies this season. You know, they've been doing terribly in the league, but then they've somehow managed to get to a Europa League semi-final, and I think this really has demonstrated perhaps Arteta's inexperience as a manager, and he's under some enormous pressure now. Meanwhile, for Manchester United, although they actually lost on the night 3-2, their 6-2 cushion from the first leg helped them as they won 8-5 on aggregate overall. The heroes of the night had to be Edinson Cavani. He proved once again exactly why Manchester United want to keep hold of this player, and I'm really hoping that they do. Then, of course, there was David De Gea. He made some brilliant saves for United, and although he's been facing a lot of criticism, talk about Dean Henderson and how he should be taking over, he really did prove why he is still Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper, to be honest. Meanwhile, for Roma, it was Edin Dzeko. He, of course, got a goal, and what this meant is that he has now scored more goals against Manchester United in all competitions than any other opponent in his career. Absolutely amazing. For Manchester United, after all of those semi-finals last season, they finally got to a final. It's going to be a really tough game against Villarreal. It's not going to be easy, but I'm sure the pressure will be on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will want to lift this piece of silverware, as if he does, will it finally silence his critics? And next up, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, Jose Mourinho, of course, will be taking over at Roma next season, and he reportedly already has his eye on 2 Manchester United players, David De Gea and Nemanja Matic. Over to Atletico Madrid, and they are eyeing a move for Barcelona's 21-year-old midfielder Riqui Puig. According to La Provence, World Cup winner Florian Thauvin will be departing from Marseille this summer. He's rejected a move to Crystal Palace, and he will actually be departing to Mexico to play for Tigres. And finally, Inter Milan star Lautaro Martinez has spoken to ESPN and stated that back in 2020, he was very close to a move to Barcelona. Of course, we all heard the transfer rumours about it, but he has stated that the main reason he did not move to the club was because of their financial difficulties, and that he did also consult Lionel Messi about the move. However, he stayed at Inter Milan. They've just lifted the Serie A trophy, so I guess it was a good decision from him. And last but by no means least, we have Friday Feels. This is where we take a look at some of the weekend's fixtures. We give you a few predictions. You guys in the comment section below can of course give us your predictions, and some of the correct ones will be read out on Monday. So first up, we have got Manchester City against Chelsea. It is the dress rehearsal for the Champions League final, and this one's going to be a really exciting one because so much is on the line for both clubs. If Manchester City win this game, they are going to be crowned Premier League champions. If Chelsea win this game, it's going to help them try and secure a spot in the top 4. So it's all to play for both teams, but I just have a feeling that Manchester City are going to have the edge because they will want that Premier League trophy in the bag. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to City. Next up, and it's all happening in La Liga as Barcelona and Atletico Madrid face each other. This is going to be such an exciting game. I mean, Barcelona have recently had a loss against Granada, Atletico Madrid have recently had a loss against Bilbao, and although this is going to be an exciting one and so much is on the line regarding this La Liga trophy, I feel like this one could end in a draw, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 final result. And our other fixture is Real Madrid against Sevilla. Yes, I have gone for 2 La Liga games because, like I say, so much is happening. So Real Madrid, they need to bounce back. As we've talked about in the daily news, they have been in a little bit of turmoil. They have obviously crashed out of the Champions League, so this would be a great opportunity for them to bounce back. Sevilla, obviously they lost to Bilbao recently. Both Atletico Madrid and Sevilla losing to Bilbao, quite interesting. But I feel like Sevilla are going to have the edge. I think that they can take advantage of Real Madrid's weakness, and I am going to go for a 1-0 victory. So those are my predictions, but of course, you guys get involved in the comments and let us know your predictions. So that's everything for today's OneFootball Daily News. As always, check out all the other content that we've got here. Have a great weekend, and until next time, I will see you all later.